Hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it's time for me to welcome you back to our Race Driver Grid Career Mode walkthrough, the classic of a game. And I was just thinking to myself when I literally loaded this up, every time I come to record this series, I get positive vibes. Like, I genuinely feel happy when I know I've got to record this series because it's just such a great game. It's just, oh man, I could never get tired of this game. Nevertheless, we have got some more events for you guys today. In all honesty, I've got no idea what will be happening today. I think there's meant to be a Le Mans at some point, but I'm not entirely sure. What I do know is we'll be doing an event in America as the first event. We'll be doing this eBay Motors Pro Muscle Cup. Now, if there's no Le Mans, we'll move on to Japan and try and get the top license there as well, but I suspect the final race of this episode could well be Le Mans 24 Hours to end this season. What I do know, however, is that we've only got to win one more event in America and one more event in Japan before we have all of our senior licenses. We've already got this one in the middle here in Europe. We need to acquire the ARL National Badge and the J-Speed Super 1 badge, which we could potentially do today. Nevertheless, the first event, as I sort of alluded to, is going to be in America, and because we've been doing a lot of GT1 endurance racing, we're not going to do this Ferodo GT1 S7 Speed Series. We're going to be doing the eBay Motors Pro Muscle Cup, and this would give us enough XP to move on to the next badge, even if we actually come second. I think actually I'm tempted to get a new car because our Ford Mustang is the worst out of the lot, so I think we're going to go, to be honest with you, I'm tempted to go with a Dodge Viper and just waste a bit of cash. Let's do that. We haven't driven the Dodge Viper before on this game. We're going to buy it on eBay. There's not much difference, to be honest with you. I mean, it's 115k new, and two of the ones on eBay are 115k as well. We might as well just buy it new then. We'll buy the Dodge Viper new, and we'll get into the eBay Motors Pro Muscle Cup in America. So then here we are, ready to get underway. By the looks of things, we had one of our cars on pole there. We've got a Lumination driver starting second. Indeed we did. We had Matthew Craven, our teammate, is starting on pole. He'll probably need it because this isn't his speciality, this genre of championship. Obviously he's a GT1 driver in terms of speciality, but hopefully he can hold down a pretty decent result if he's starting from pole. We'll have to wait and see. We've got a left-hander coming up, so we'll try and lunge one on the inside. Nope, no space there. Might have to wait for a nice slow left-hander coming up here, but the two cars ahead of us going side by side. We've lunged up the inside. That's a really poor manoeuvre. I do apologise to that Dodge, I think, that's up the road, that we just smashed into the side of. Very much sorry about that one. Matthew Craven's already dropping through the order. He's already down to P5. With a bit of contact, we go around the outside of him as well to complete his misery. And even more contact with this black car. I'm so sorry. I think it was Larry Fulton. Again, every time that I race, you know, on this game, as someone spins off there, that's a Dodge Viper going off at the, not penultimate corner, but someone's spinning off, so we're up into P3. Every time I sort of break between the series, I obviously don't play the game when I'm not recording this series, so it's always quite a bit of time between playing the game, so I always have to sort of get used to it again, and the different physics and the different sort of driving engine. Nevertheless, we're approaching Douglas Thurston and going up the inside of him. Decent move there. It's a 4-lap race though, this one, and we're only halfway through lap 2, so we've got a lot of time to take the lead off the Scotsman here. Decent run out of there. We've got the inside line going into this next corner, and that should be job done, and indeed it is. May think about getting a new driver, a new teammate at some point, just to progress our team even further. Because Matthew Craven has been pretty good. I think he's already our best teammate in terms of podiums, as we go very wide there and almost have a big incident. But I think he's already been our best teammate in terms of podiums, but he still feels as if he could be a lot better. This really has been an extremely comfortable win at this point. We've really extended away from Eddie Ross in the Lumination car to the tune of 7 seconds as we come around the final few corners on this lap. It looks as if it's going to be a win then in our first race of this event, and it looks like a pretty positive sign for the rest of the entire championship as we come across the line in dominant fashion to win in our new Dodge Viper, the first time we've ever used it, and it is a good result in the end. As you can see, Matthew Craven from pole position did drop through the field, but not too much after we passed him. He did end up finishing in 7th position though. In terms of the team's championship, we are currently sat in 2nd place. DTR Speed are top with us in 2nd and then Lumination in 3rd. We need Matthew Craven to pull his weight a little bit more in the second race. Sponsorship wise, obviously we're going to get pretty much everything, yet we do indeed get absolutely everything. 102k there for us, but obviously for Matthew Craven it should be a completely different story. He does get a little bit from Holly, but that is literally carry it. 8.5k for his 7th place in the first race of the championship. We're moving across America to Washington now for the second race of this championship. Paul Collins in the eBay Motors Ford Mustang is the man we should be watching out for apparently, and we are starting at the back of the grid in P12 with Charlie Tyler in another Dodge Viper, but an orange one to our left hand side. We've got considerably more work to do if we're to win this one, but of course we are off the back of a pretty dominant win, and we've already gained 3 positions there. I'm going to try and make a move on him pretty shortly. He brakes very cautiously for that right hand, and we just breeze right around the outside of him. 2 Lumination cars about to be passed. There's a car there off to the left-hand side. That was a Ford Mustang, I do believe, as Douglas Thurston tries to move up the inside. We squeeze him a little bit. We're trying to get the inside of Paul Collins here. Tiny bit of contact. The room was starting to close, I think it's fair to say. Someone gets up on 2 wheels behind. We've got a Viper off there, coming back onto the track. I think it was the same car that went off in the first race, actually. Ross Meadows, the Canadian, going off again. We've got 2 pretty slow cars, to be quite honest with you, ahead of us, and it's allowing the top 4 to gallop away into the distance. Daryl Stanley's the first we're going to dispatch in the Lumination car and just get the car stopped before we plough into the side of the Ford Mustang. We'll try and make a move on him pretty promptly as well, because we can see the top 3 getting away in the distance, and obviously we want to stop that trend. Come around this right-hander, duck into the slipstream of Paul Collins. Can we make a move here? The AI are very cautious through that right-hander, which you can comfortably take flat out, but the AI don't seem to share that opinion. Matthew Craven, actually, up there in P2, doing a very good job, is our teammate. We were saying we might think about replacing him, but if he continues to do well in this race, a race that really isn't his speciality, then we might have to reconsider that. Obviously, he clearly gets along with this track a lot more than the street circuit that we had in the first race, so far anyway. We don't want to tempt fate. He's doing a good job in second place as we lose the back end a little bit there. We want to try and, I do want to try and win this, to be quite honest with you, as Eddie Ross gets way out of shape and spins. That's 1/3 of the job done. We, though, are also bearing down on Matthew Craven. Don't want to put him under pressure so that he spins off. We'll just try and dispatch him pretty quickly, but he goes defensive, in fairness, and that completely blocks off the move. I was thinking of going to the inside, but he covered it pretty well. We are, though, going to go around the outside through the next corner, and that is job done there. Lose the back end a little bit. Now we've got a left-hander coming up, but I think this is the final corner on the track. A few more turns, we probably would have done it, but Larry Fulton will win the race. Will come across the line for second from the back of the grid, which is still a pretty decent result. And Matthew Craven, above all, gets a podium, so a double podium for FNG Racing, which should definitely put us back at the top of the team's championship. So just confirmation then of the drivers' championship. It is us leading, but only by 4 points actually. Larry Fulton, the man who won that race, is in P2. Matthew Craven is third, but a long way behind the Scotsman in second place. As far as the team's championship is concerned, we are top, but only by 7 points ahead of DTR Speed, who are definitely the best team, potentially other than us, in this championship. No one else really comes close. In terms of sponsor objectives, we did actually fail a few of them because we didn't technically win the race. So Sparko and Speed don't pay out, but everyone else does. So we get 73k from that. Matthew Craven does get his major objective done, which is Magneti Morelli, and he also gets 73k, which is very lovely to see. Time then for the final race of this championship. It's a Lumination 1-2 on the grid, so maybe have to watch out for them as an outsider in the team's championship. Thankfully for us, our nearest challenger in the Drivers' Championship is starting behind us on the grid in P10. We are starting in P9 with our teammate Craven up in third on the grid. I didn't even look at the track that this is, or the street circuit that this is. I think we've been here before. Is it Long Beach? I'm not entirely sure. Whatever the circumstance, though, we've managed to pass a few cars coming through turn 1 and on its exit. Eddie Ross, the Scotsman, is in the lead as we brake very heavily there to avoid that Dodge Viper and hence leave the door open to Marcus Brooks as we go up the inside of 3 cars there. Very opportunistic move. Just realised this is a very short lap, and it's also 8 laps long is this race. 8 whole laps long. Ridiculous scenes. As far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, if we carry on like we are, we've basically got it sewn up, to be quite honest with you. It's more about the Team's Championship, because obviously the Drivers' Championship-wise, my goodness me, that was almost a massive collision / incident. We do manage to take 4, but as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, we're beating our nearest challenger. He's further down the order, so that's absolutely fine. I'm more thinking about the Team's Championship at this point, because obviously, you know, we want to win that too. I think the guy in front of us, Douglas Thurston, is also driving for DTR Speed, so we need to certainly beat him as well, and we should have the team's championship sewn up, and we're going to do that by lunging up the inside of him there through the final corner. And now we've just got to worry about the 2 Lumination cars who are having a late surge in this championship. In the final race, we got the inside there of Darrell Stanley, just about. Nevertheless, we got the inside then of Eddie Ross, the man who was in the lead for Luminition. The Scotsman, who probably would be a contender for this championship as well, had he not spun off in race number 2. On to the final lap then here, lap number 8 of 8, and it looks pretty nailed on that we're going to win this one despite the car damage that we've got. 4 1/4 seconds back to Eddie Ross. One thing I did wish this game had was a race director actually, although I don't think that was really a thing until sort of like F1 2010, so I can understand why it wasn't there. As well as rain, of course. It would have been nice for this game to have rain. But across the line we come, and we take the win in the race, and therefore the win in the championship, with 2 wins and a 2nd place. So confirmation that we pretty comprehensively won the Drivers' Championship by 18 points over the 2 Scotsmen, Larry Fulton and Eddie Ross. Unfortunately, Craven didn't hold on to that P3 in the championship, but does still take a pretty respectable 5th. But in the team's championship, Craven's efforts were enough for us to win it pretty comfortably again in the end. 92 points to DTR Speed 75. Sponsor objectives wise, and as I suspected, Spidey on track did not give us the money because we damaged the car, but we do still get 93k. Matthew Craven won't get as much because he only came 6th in the race and only gets 8.5, which is pretty tragic in the end. And XP wise, we get 46k, and you know what that means. That should well be enough to get our final license. As you can see, the ARL National Badge is in fact acquired with 17k's worth of XP to spare. And look at the money we earned from that event. 674,000 from one event. 3.5 mil now in terms of balance, which I think should be enough for us to now start getting LMP2 and potentially LMP1 cars as well. That is a lot of money to have in the bank. And in terms of sponsorship objectives from that event, we've got Pecco, Graham Light, and even more importantly, eBay Motors. What a sponsor that is to have. Here you can see then the ARL National Badge has in fact been unlocked. Oh my goodness me, this is going to be fun times. This is going to be fun times. We've got even more prestigious events now to earn. But before we get into any of that, as I suspected, we have got the Le Mans 24 hours. Of course, we're going to be doing a team entry. We're not going to be driving a GP2 car, yeah? Well, we're not going to be driving a GP2 car either. We're not going to be driving a GT2 car, but we are going to be driving this GT1 Lamborghini Murcielago. Let's go out and have some fun. Right, it's Le Mans time. Pedro Lamy in the Aston Martin is the man we should be watching out for in this race, supposedly. I am just looking forward to getting this one underway. I love a good Le Mans 24 hours. It was such a great feature in this game. Emmanuel Pirro, let's just try and fight out with an LMP2 cars. Bunny, Craven's trying to get through. We blocked him off and Oliver Gavin's gone through in the Corvette. I'm lunging at one of the LMP2 cars, or they're going to go, no, they're going to go too quick. They're going to flash off into the distance. Oh my word, no, oh my goodness me. What have we done? What have we done? We've absolutely bottled it from the get-go, boys and girls. We've absolutely bottled it from the get. How have we? I was focusing so much on the LMP2 cars that I forgot how to drive my own Lamborghini and just bummed it in the gravel. And we're now actually physically at the back. We're behind all the GT2 cars as well. For goodness sake, what have I done? We're going to bear down here on Romain Dumas in the Matmut Porsche and go past him down into the chicane. Good stuff there. And just through simple car speed, we should be able to breeze past him. There we go, job done. The GT2 guy is very spread out in this one. Jörg Bergmeister is next. Thought about a move around the outside there, but decided against it on Mr. Bergmeister, but it should be a simple move now. Past the White Lightning Porsche we go, and up into P12 on the track. I can see just faintly in the distance Matthew Craven battling for the lead with of the class even, with Oliver Gavin and Aston Martin, which I'm going to assume is Pedro Lamy. I can see just ahead of us we've got Ron Fellows and another Aston Martin. I don't know who that belongs to, but for the lead of the actual event... Oh no, I did see Matthew Craven, but he put it in the gravel as well. Oh, both the Lamborghinis are having mares. One thing that didn't allow us to do, or enable us to do, is get past Ron Fellows, but poor Matthew Craven. Meanwhile, the lights are on here in southern France. I think Le Mans is in southern France. We've gone wide onto the grass again. Big mistake there. Through the final few corners, where there's been so many incidents in the past in Le Mans races on this series. Got a good exit out of there, though, and we're going to go up the inside of Pedro Lamy and Aston Martin. Squeeze him slightly. It looks as if Matthew Craven's making a move as well for 5th in class. So the 2 FNG Racing Lamborghinis making progress now through the field. Our next target, though, is the 2nd of the Chevy Corvettes, and that is Oliver Gavin. Getting a good run here on Oliver Gavin as well. That should be move done. down the straight. Oh, it's Nelson PK in the Aston Martin. I'm gonna not be an idiot here. Well, I'm gonna attempt not to be an idiot and assume that's Nelson PK Jr. as opposed to Nelson PK Sr. I'll Google it after the race. But I really can't imagine that it's Nelson PK Sr. Although actually thinking about it, I don't know if I can imagine if it's Nelson PK Jr. either. Because this game is based around, what, the 2007 Le Mans Series Championship? Nelson PK Jr. was like a GP2 driver back then, wasn't he? Or no, he'd just gone into F1. Maybe it's Nelson PK Jr. then in that case. It would certainly make more sense than Nelson PK Sr. But I can't even believe I'm actually having this discussion. It's clearly Junior. Anyway, whatever the circumstance, we are closing down on the Brazilian. Junior, Senior, Junior, whichever PK it is. We're over halfway now through the race. Very much pitch black here at Le Mans. But halfway through the race. Oh, that's going to be a massive accident. Oh my goodness me, Nelson PK smashes himself in the wall. And so do we as well. We take our eye off the ball, smack the wall on exit. And we've done some damage to the steering. And Oliver Gavin, who's coming up our inside, is going to inherit the lead somehow. Oh, we've got serious steering damage. And through goes Pedro Lamy. Craven's going to try it around the outside. He goes through as well. Oh, this race has exploded into life. Look at our car. Right, we've gone past Craven in order to try and not, like, pressurise him into a mistake. Because that is a very big thing on this game. We've got some big damage, though, now to the car. Nelson PK surely is out of the race. Surely he's out of the race with that. And somehow Oliver Gavin has inherited the lead. He was like 3rd or 4th about 30, 40 seconds ago. And suddenly he's in the lead with now 9 hours of this race to go scaled down. Oliver Gavin is leading. What a battle though we've got. We've got a 5-way battle basically for the lead. Oliver Gavin's going to go defensive. Or he's going to allow Pedro Lamy to the inside. We're thinking about making it 3 abreast here. Can we do that? Try and get through the middle of them. This could be amazing. We duck out of it in the end. Lamy goes to the inside of Gavin, though. Gavin loses out in the end to the ex-Formula 1 driver. And Matthew Craven's coming in hot now as well. We're going to allow him to the inside to try and make a move. He's going to have to make it 3 abreast if he wants to get past Gavin as well. Oh, Matthew Craven getting involved. What a battle we've got for the lead of this GT1 class after that big incident. Oh my god, almost smacking into the back of Pedro Lamy. Drifting massively under braking. The Corvette of Gavin has been passed by Craven under traction. The 2 Corvettes are underachieving massively in this race so far. We've got to try and get past Pedro Lamy. We've got under grass there. Massive moment. Going to try and go to the inside, outside of Lamy now. Get on the grass again. Force us a little bit wide, and Craven's gone up the inside and up into 2nd in the class. We've got a better run than the Brit. Coming out of the corner. This is fantastic racing between all 5 of us at the moment. Craven, though, is getting back at us again as we approach the Porsche curves. We can't allow Pedro Lamy to get away up the front, though. We still need to win this as a team. With 5 hours of this race to go. Craven, oh, he brakes for some reason, and we go through. Around the outside, the 2 Chevy Corvettes are fanning out as well behind. Through the final corners we go. Did everyone make it through just about? There's the remains of our car to the left-hand side. We've got a great run here as well on Pedro Lamy. Going to try and go to the outside through turn 1, which will become the inside into the chicane. Can we make it stick on the Aston Martin driver? We go through. Outbrake ourselves slightly, but the position is gained, and we go wide through the corner, and Pedro Lamy goes through again. This is some great racing at the front of this field, and we're now going to duck into the slipstream of the Portuguese driver and see if we can make a move down this straight and into the chicane. Right in the slipstream of the Aston Martin. Look at this, weaving from side to side to get the best run on him. Back into the slipstream we go. We're practically pushing him down the straight, going to the outside as Lamy goes defensive into the chicane. Can we outbrake him? We can. We'll hold the inside now through the second part of the chicane. And we get the job done, do we? No, because Lamy comes back at us. Craven's now here as well. Not a great exit out of the corner, but Craven will have a good slipstream and a run on Pedro Lamy. We're going to watch his progress. He's going to go to the outside, going into the second chicane. Lamy's in our slipstream, so we're going to break that by going even further to the inside. Could it potentially go 3 abreast? I think it is. Craven's to the direct outside. What's he going to do? Into the corner. Lamy gives us a push from behind, and Craven goes round the outside, but then spins off. For goodness sake, Matthew Craven spins off. He's bottled it on the final stretch. There's only an hour and 40 of this race to go, but it appears to have gifted us the win potentially into this right-hander. And what a roller coaster of emotions this race has been. Absolutely incredible scenes. 3 abreast down into the chicane. Craven takes the lead and then spins out instantly. and potentially gifts us the win here. In the Le Mans 24 Hours, it's looking pretty nailed on at this point. It will be 3 manufacturers on the podium by the looks of things in the GT1 category. Only 10 minutes to go. It is, of course, daytime here at Le Mans, and we are about to win the Le Mans 24 Hours yet again in the GT1 category with a very wounded Lamborghini Murcielago. But what a race that was. By far the best Le Mans 24 Hours we've ever had. Matthew Craven even finishes behind a few of the GT2 cars after his spin, just missing out on passing Jörg Bergmeister and Patrick Bourdais. Nelson Piquet did indeed retire after that massive crash, but we take the win in the GT1 category from Pedro Lamy, Oliver Gavin, Ron Fellows and Matthew Craven. So in terms of sponsorship, we are going to get everything apart from Spidey on track again, because once again we damaged the car stupidly, but we do still get 93k. And once again, Matthew Craven will fail on quite a few of his, but he does get Kappa as well this time, which adds up to 16k. 46k as well in terms of XP going into the global category, which means we are probably one more event win now in Japan away from our super global license. So in terms of the bank account, we get an extra 310k for that win in the GT1 category of Le Mans. Unfortunately not getting that team win bonus because of flipping Matthew Craven's excursions. That though is the end of season number 6. 5 event wins, 2.4 million in money earned, which leaves us 235th in the driver rankings, which I feel is very low for what we've actually achieved so far in this series. We basically won everything we've entered apart from like one event since we started. In terms of our teammate though, he's 72nd. He's dropped down apparently in the ratings, but still pretty high. In terms of the team standings or team rankings in the world, we're currently 61st, which is pretty decent, I suppose, although we will be hoping to break into the top 50 at the end of season number 7. And talking of number 7, this is the start of season number 7, although we won't be breaking into that this episode. You'll have to wait and see about our new livery and our new sponsors and potentially a new teammate for next episode, because this is the end of today's episode. If you've got any ideas for a new livery, then make sure to drop that in the comment section. Otherwise, we'll probably just have a slight variation of what we've got on the car for now. If you have enjoyed the video though, feel free to hit the likes button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and comment about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much. But apart from that, it has been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
I wanna say yes, yes. Hope I see you next time. Said I want